All right, so picture this. You're a talented musician, you compete in a huge national talent show, you get second place, and then you get absolutely nothing for it. No prize, no contract, zip. Then, out of nowhere, your face is plastered on giant billboards all across the country. What are they for? To promote the very same competition that gave you nothing. This is the truly perplexing story of one singer's decade-long fight for her rights.
So let's rewind the clock a bit. It all starts back in 2010 with a really popular singing competition called Glow Naija Sings. It was a huge deal. And for one contestant, what should have been the highlight of her career turned into a shocking discovery that, well, it pretty much changed everything.
Yeah, just look at how fast this all went down. After weeks and weeks of competing, she's named the runner-up and walks away completely empty-handed. But the real kicker came about a year later. Her phone starts blowing up with calls from friends and family saying, "Hey, I just saw you on a massive billboard." They were being used to advertise the next season of the show. She had given zero, and I mean zero, permission for this. So what's her next move? She decides to take them to court.
And she wasn't messing around. She sued them for $500 million. That's a huge number. She argued that the company was illegally cashing in on her face, her image, her personality, all for their own commercial gain and all without her consent. The stakes were incredibly high from the get-go.
So, when this thing gets to court, you'd probably expect them to argue about whether she gave permission or not, right? Wrong. Instead, the singer immediately slams into this completely unexpected legal wall, all thanks to a really clever argument from the company's lawyers. And here it is. This is the legal trap they set, and it's brilliant in a way. The singer's claim was super simple. You used my photo without asking. But the company, they completely changed the subject. They argued, oh no, this isn't about her image. This is about the copyright of her performance during the competition. And here's why that's so important. In Nigeria, all copyright cases have to go to a very specific court, the Federal High Court.
So you see the strategy? The company wanted to avoid talking about the billboards entirely. They basically walked into the courtroom and told the judge, "You're in the wrong place. This state high court doesn't even have the power, the jurisdiction, to listen to this case." It was an audacious move designed to get the whole thing thrown out before it ever really started.
But this singer was not giving up that easily. She refused to let some legal technicality shut her down. What came next was a long, frustrating, and no doubt expensive climb up the judicial ladder, fighting not about the actual billboards, but just about which courtroom they were supposed to be in.
And what's really crazy here is the pattern that emerged. First, the state high court actually buys the company's argument. They agree it's a copyright thing and toss the case out. So the singer appeals. But the Court of Appeal, they also side with the company. For years, she was completely stonewalled. After getting shut down twice, she had only one shot left, a final appeal to the Supreme Court.
Okay, so after all those years of being blocked, the case finally lands at the feet of the Supreme Court. Let's break down how they finally untangled this whole legal mess and gave the answer everyone was waiting for.
You know, the Supreme Court just went back to the absolute basics. They cracked open the Nigerian Copyright Act itself, and the key to this whole puzzle was hiding in this one simple definition. The law is crystal clear. The author, and therefore the person who owns the copyright of a photo, is the person who actually took the picture, the photographer. And based on that simple fact, one of the Supreme Court justices laid it out perfectly with this quote. The singer couldn't possibly be suing for copyright infringement because she didn't own the copyright to begin with. She was the subject of the photo, not the one who created it. And that was it. That was the key that unlocked the whole thing. The Supreme Court said that the lower courts had gotten it fundamentally wrong. This case was never, ever about copyright. It was, just as the singer had argued from day one, a straightforward case about someone using her personal image for their own profit without permission. So with that, the Supreme Court laid down the law. Her appeal? Allowed. Those previous rulings from the lower courts? Overturned. They declared that the state high court absolutely did have the power to hear her case. And after a battle that lasted over a decade, just fighting about where to fight, the singer finally won the right to have her actual case heard in court.
So what's the big takeaway here? Well, beyond this one incredible story, the Supreme Court's decision shines a huge spotlight on a crucial difference that honestly everyone should understand, especially today.
This table really breaks it all down. There are two totally separate rights happening at the same time. The photographer owns the copyright. That's the right to copy and sell the photo as a piece of art.
But you, the person in the photo, you control your own image rights. That means you get to decide if your face can be used to sell a soft drink or promote a TV show. They are not the same thing at all.
And that whole decade-long legal fight leaves us with a really important question for our own lives. I mean, in a world full of social media, selfies, and those endless terms and conditions we all just click agree on, do we really know what rights to our own face we're giving away? This case is a huge reminder that knowing the difference between owning a photo and owning your own likeness has never, ever been more important.